Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here. I think there are a couple of things that are worth noting, and there's some things that are very unique to 2020, and some things that, as we know, have been battles that have been waged over a much longer period. The
Mhm.
first thing I want to note is that companies that are making progress and sit at the top of sort of diversity and inclusion power lists of any kind have recognized that it's not a one silver bullet solution. And you will find, whether it's L'Oreal, whether it's SAP, whether it's Salesforce, that many of them have had to take a multifaceted approach to make any kind of progress. So I want to just note that, we talk a lot about 2020, and I'm going to come to what's unique about 2020. But it is, in fact, true that to close this gap, it's not simply a question of sort of data reporting or of a Rooney rule, right? Or of creating an affinity group or putting the first underrepresented minority on your board. I mean, this is an all fronts attack. And the companies that do it best have been doing it for a long time and have recognized that, right? And we can all speak to the fear that everyone has about 2020, which is tokenism, which is the idea that, because of the Black Lives Matter movement of this year, or gender legislation in California, people do the one thing they need to do, right? So I just want to note that I think one of the reasons I think we're hitting a more interesting point in the dialogue on diversity, inclusion, and gender equity is because it has been many things that have piled up and led people to take multiple actions, as opposed to these moments in time, as we see, we've seen one or two pretty incredible ones in 2020, where people take action on one front. So if I could point to anything about 2020, it was sort of a layering of yet another issue. And the companies that are making the most progress are companies that have attacked this from many dimensions, and use these moments in time, to accelerate their efforts as opposed to taking a single effort. That's the most notable thing I see.